You have the development and you have the ecosystem. So the core development is the strategy. So do we want Laos or not? Do we want rollups or not? Do we want Midgard or not? Do we want to continue refining Aiken? Do we want to continue refining Plutus? Do we want more language diversity? Do we want formal methods in our languages, et cetera, et cetera? And that's a lot of deeply technical stuff. And then E, the ecosystem side is, do we want to pay the annual budgets of some of the people that provide core infrastructure like Tap Tools or Dex Hunter or whatever, or partially subsidize them? Do we want to subsidize the wallet makers in Cardano? Do we want to put money on the table for marketing? If so, how much? Blah, 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 all this type of stuff. You put those two sides together, you start forming a strategy and the tactics upon which to execute that strategy.
In a high-stakes interview with Crypto Charles, Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson laid out a groundbreaking vision to challenge Bitcoin's dominance. His strategy revolves around two key pillars: core development and ecosystem expansion. Hoskinson isn't just making incremental improvements, he's pushing for revolutionary upgrades like Roll UPS and Midgard while enhancing Cardano's existing technologies, including Plutus and Marlow. But the plan extends beyond tech advancement. Cardano is doubling down on decentralized exchanges, wallets, and aggressive marketing, all while maintaining a strong focus on sustainable growth. What's at stake? If executed successfully, Cardano has the potential to surpass Bitcoin, but this vision hinges on the active participation of its community. Hoskinson believes that true decentralization and continuous innovation will drive Cardano to new heights, but it will require a collective effort to turn ambition into reality. The question remains: can Cardano achieve this monumental goal, or is it destined to fall short? Hoskinson has laid out the blueprint, but whether this marks the beginning of a crypto revolution or just another ambitious dream is yet to be seen.
Stop. You don't have time. Don't miss out this 2025 bull run. Educate yourself first ahead of the crowd. We have created the ultimate step-by-step crypto cheat guide that will guide you this bull run. Unlock the secrets of crypto and make smarter investments today. Now by clicking on the link below to get your exclusive copy just under $10.
You have the development and you have the ecosystem. So the core development is the strategy. So do we want Laos or not? Do we want rollups or not? Do we want Midgard or not? Do we want to continue refining Aiken? Do we want to continue refining Plutus? Do we want more language diversity? Do we want formal methods in our languages, et cetera, et cetera? And that's a lot of deeply technical stuff. And then E, the ecosystem side is, do we want to pay the annual budgets of some of the people that provide core infrastructure like Tap Tools or Dex Hunter or whatever, or partially subsidize them? Do we want to subsidize the wallet makers in Cardano? Do we want to put money on the table for marketing? If so, how much? Blah, 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 all this type of stuff. You put those two sides together, you start forming a strategy and the tactics upon which to execute that strategy. IO will not be the lion's share of the budget after it's all said and done. And we're doing this as a basically showcase what our expenses are for what we do. And we're not going to make a profit on that, more likely than not. In fact, we'll probably lose money given that ADA is coming down and we're taking ADA at a risk. So, people are going to say a bunch of stuff, but that budget, the DREP's job is to think about, what does this mean? Have we left some people out? Do we feel it's enough? Is it too much? Do we feel it's sustainable? Do we think this is going to grow the ecosystem or contract the ecosystem? And do we feel that this is going to make Cardano competitive or not? And every DREP has an opinion. And after that 2 weeks of drama subsides, they realize that just being against something is absolutely meaningless. You have to be for something. You actually have to have a vision and a strategy. So reconciliation is that you're going to see a lot of different budget artifacts be proposed, some very comprehensive, some not so much. And basically they have to take those pieces and put them together. And I'm more than happy to help facilitate that. They could be at the ranch, they could be at University of Wyoming and Laramie and come to the office here, go somewhere else. But a lot of people are going to put things together. The biggest DREPs are going to put some stuff together. And in-face meetings are always preferable over meetings that happen over the phone. But, either or doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, it's got to get approved. And we have to ask some strategic questions and philosophical questions like, do we want to continue funding Catalyst at the scale that we're funding? Or do we want to draw that back? And if so, how much? And how do we want to change the funding mandate of Catalyst? That's one of the biggest questions. And also another big question is multi-client. There are now 4 projects that I know of that are credible and really strong that are building diverse clients in the Cardano ecosystem. So we have obviously the Haskell node, and everybody loves that one or hates it. But then you have the Go node from Blink Labs, you have Harmonic with the TypeScript node, and then you have TX Pipe building the Rust one. And a lot of people want client diversity. Okay, well, if you want it, pay for it. And the budget that Intersec's proposing, I believe, has that line item in it. But there are many, many, many other considerations. Like, do you want 24/7 implementation for Laos? So I told Jer and the other guys, let's put a package together so that devs never sleep for Laos. Once the prototype is done, 24/7. So you actually have 3 shifts: day shift, night shift, mid shift, and they work the weekends too. So shows the urgency of that to the community, because a lot of people think we need that to catch up. Okay, same for Midgard. Make it a first class citizen because they have 15 developers. They're ready to go. We're incubating them. Same for Bitcoin DeFi and these other things. D-reps are going to ask naturally questions like, what does this mean? Is it too much? Is it too little? Do we feel comfortable with the oversight here? Like Patrick Tobler brought up the idea of using smart contracts to dispense the funds. We can do that. When the budget comes out, it can go into a smart contract if people want to take the ADA. They want stable coins to be paid, let's say USDM and USDA, because they don't want the volatility risk because they can't afford it. That's fine too. What you do is you just convert the ADA into the stable coin, then put the stable coin in the smart contract. And then the governance keys for that smart contract in terms of stopping payment can be held by the audit and oversight entity that's checking that the work was done appropriately. And at the end of the year, any money that's left over the smart contract that's in ADA can be swept back into the treasury. That's a capability Treasury has. We're trying to expand it. I'm advocating to expand the Treasury function to also accept Cardano native tokens in the Treasury. So then you can actually donate USDM and USDA into the Cardano Treasury as well. So you could do a complete sweep there and it never touches an entity. It's 100% smart contract based. So these are the conversations we're going to have. And they're hard because we've never done it before. But when you put them all together, what will end up happening is that all of those will eventually turn into a system. And then year by year, we just follow that system, continue to refine it. And it's going to be a shit show for the first 6 months to a year because everybody's wants to vent about stuff that should have been funded for 5 years.
How are you feeling about these AI D-reps that have been popping up?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, you're going to have every type of D-rep under the sun. You're going to have multi-sig. You're going to have special interests. You're going to have DApp associated, stake pool associated. You're going to have double dippers that are in the custodial committee and they're D-reppers. You're going to have human and non-human. You're going to have nation states. You're going to have institutions like universities. That's the magic of it. And what's so cool is we don't actually know ahead of time who's going to make good decisions and who's going to make poor decisions. So you let the diversity of all these things come. And then what you do is you hold all of them accountable to KPIs. And you say, are they regularly participating in governance? Are they voting in a timely manner? Are they engaging in productive, meaningful dialogue or destructive dialogue, et cetera, et cetera? You can just kind of work your way through all of that. And over time, what happens is you get to kind of a sweet spot where you say, this is roughly what we look for. And then you set up an internal decorum for these types of.
Charles Hoskinson emphasized the importance of the decision proposal system in shaping Cardano's financial strategy. DPS will assess the project's budget while considering critical factors such as client diversity, funding oversight, and long-term sustainability. The system must take a strategic approach to ensure resources are allocated effectively, keeping Cardano's vision and growth on track. Proposals submitted through DPS will undergo thorough evaluation and refinement to maintain efficiency. Hoskinson also stressed key priorities like catalyst funding, multi-client deployment, and ensuring 24-hour availability for Layer 1 solutions. He mentioned that DPS may leverage smart contracts to distribute funds transparently and efficiently. While the budgeting process will be complex, it is designed to create a well-structured and forward-looking financial plan for Cardano. Additionally, DPS members will be held accountable for meeting key performance metrics, ensuring that every decision contributes to Cardano's long-term success. Watch the following clips from Hoskinson's interview with Crypto Crow for deeper insights into Cardano's evolving strategy.
How do we inspire other people to want to become D-reps themselves?
That's why economic incentives are so powerful, because if it's civic duty, it's really hard in practice to get that 24/7 all the time. But if you're talking your book for your ecosystem, whether you're an NFT project or a meme coin or DeFi application or a wallet maker, whatever, basically you're talking your business. So instead of doing indirect lobbying, where you go and hire a lobbyist who in a shadowy way goes and talks to lawmakers, what you're doing is just doing the opposite. You just become a lawmaker. And then you fight for your interests. And that's what lawmakers are supposed to do. You think about it, it's like, is the Congresswoman Hageman from the state of Wyoming, did she really wake up every day and say, how do I get better water and less fires in California? No, she's there for Wyoming. She represents Wyoming. So she's going to go and say, like, how do I stop the wildfires in Wyoming? How do I get our fair share of water? How do I get this and this and this? She was elected by the people of Wyoming to represent Wyoming. So D-reps are much the same way. So become a D-rep and do that. And the incentive is quite strong. Usually it's you're talking your book for your project. So it becomes a natural extension of your business activities for the project that you do and the ecosystem you belong to. And if you do that, it's sustainable because it just becomes part of the budget and people are always there and it's going to be well maintained and well regulated, I think. And it's the same. You have you're part of the influencer economy. You have projects that you're deploying on Cardano, like Workroom and others. And those projects, I would imagine you want to see them commercially successful. And I'd imagine that you'd want to see the product roadmap written in a way that it will bring net more customer opportunities for you. It'd be pretty shitty if you spent all this money and this time and this effort building stuff for Cardano and Cardano's not fit for purpose and you can't get adoption. Also, what if you want to go raise some capital for it? It'd be pretty shitty if there's no connection point to venture capital or other capital sources because Cardano has a bad reputation or there's just that bridge hasn't been built. So as a D-rep, I'd imagine you'd sit there and think about your own interests and say, like, how do I make sure that this budget and this roadmap it aligns Cardano with things I need to get done for me to make money and for me to be successful. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're, oh, well, no, you got to think about the greater good and all this other stuff. Yeah, you will for 15 minutes. And then you're like, but what about all the people I've hired? What about the millions of dollars I've spent out of my own pocket? What about all the things that I've done? What about my family? I want to take care of them. I want this to be successful. How the does Solana launch shit that instantly goes to $1 billion and we're sitting at that 10 or $100 million range? And what happens when I want to go get listed? I got a token and I want to get that listed. How come this budget doesn't cover, getting listed on Binance or Kraken or something like that and getting that stuff done? We got to cover that because I want to get listed. I want to do that. By the way, what's good for you just so happens is good for the vast majority of people building things on Cardano as well. It creates use and utility. And if you're successful, what are you going to do? You're going to bring users to Cardano and value to Cardano. You're going to build that ecosystem up. That is mutual partnership. So mutual interest is there. And for some things, you're completely aligned. And for other things, you are mortal enemies and hate each other. And the key to get around all that is diversity. You need a lot of people in the room. So we just need to get more projects to recognize that they need to step outside of being a project and become a D-rep and be part of that.
So basically what I just gathered is I got to go read Nancy Pelosi's book so I can learn how to be a profitable politician on Cardano. I'll learn from the best.
No, you just got to ask yourself, what's Cardano missing? And then you use that as your KPI when you look at the budget and when you look at the roadmap and these other things. That's my advice to any D-rep. You're involved in either you've bought something and you're part of a community in Cardano, or you're involved in building your own project on Cardano. In either case, you can solicit feedback and say to the people who've delegated to you and to your own book, what are we missing? And a lot of people come to me, they tell me everything. Hey, Charles, we want a higher TPS rate. All right, yeah, okay. Well, we know how to do that. And we're going all of the above. And the budget currently reflects that. And the product roadmap currently reflects that. And then other people say, well, Charles, we want more interoperability. Well, that's the partner chains framework. It's literally going to build bridge infrastructure with everybody. And the most important partner is Bitcoin. So we're adding special stuff just for them. Okay. And other people come and say, Charles, we want more liquidity. I said, I agree with you. Because I have a Cardano native asset too. It's called Night. That's midnight. It's on Cardano. So if you can't get listed, I can't get listed. So obviously we have to figure this out. So, well, there's $20 million of integrations and infrastructure for our ecosystem that should have been done 3 years ago. They were not a priority for the people who were given the money to make it a priority. So you know what? We're just going to pay out of our own pocket for that, because we have to get that done. I would have loved a budget process to exist to do that. And if I was voting on a budget, although I don't vote on these things, but if I was, I'd be like, that is something we must do. We got to get on Fireblocks. We got to get on BitGo. We got to get on Copper and these other guys, because those custodians are the back end for all the tier 2 and 3 exchanges. So if you're not on them, you can't get listed on them. Okay. And we need more market makers. We need more liquidity. We need stablecoin strategy, and not go give Circle $27 million. No, The stablecoin strategy needs to be that we take care of our stablecoins incumbent in Cardano. We have 4 of them. We should take care of them. We should actually mint a lot and get people to use them in various DeFi applications, and maybe put a percentage of the treasury into it. And then get these guys listed, get these guys cross-chain, bring them to Bitcoin, and make them some of the first stablecoins to hit Bitcoin with principles. By doing those things, then you build that base out and you create more resilience inside the ecosystem. So these are kinds of things I advocate for, just from hearing everybody talk to me. But obviously, other people have different things. If you're building a client, probably the number one issue for you is client diversity. That's the number one issue, because it creates a market for what you're building and the years of effort and labor that you've basically put in to do that.
Charles Hoskinson is shaking up the crypto world with a revolutionary strategy for Cardano, focusing on 2 critical elements: core development and ecosystem expansion. It's not just about advancing technology, it's about making strategic decisions on which innovations to prioritize. While Plutus and Marlowe remain key, Hoskinson is pushing for new programming languages and cutting-edge features that could redefine Cardano's landscape. Beyond technology, Cardano is setting its sights on the entire ecosystem, including wallet providers, decentralized exchanges, and financial infrastructure. Hoskinson's vision emphasizes full transparency, with smart contracts managing funds and allowing the community to track every financial move. He's even exploring stablecoin integration to minimize volatility and create a more sustainable financial environment. Hoskinson envisions a future where smart contracts automate fund distribution and hold projects accountable through key performance indicators. While challenges and conflicts are inevitable, the ultimate goal remains clear: building a thriving, transparent ecosystem that empowers the community. What do you think is the most important factor for Cardano's success? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.